Hello guys and welcome to 9th Metagame Monday, I think at least. Last video I asked you to choose between Series 5 or Series 6. I think one person said Series 6, but a large majority of you on stream whilst I recorded last Metagame Monday, and majority of you in the comment section also said they wanted Series 5 because of upcoming international challenge being Series 5 rule set. So I thought, what kind of team could I remind you the rule set the best? Of course it will probably be Cinderace, and it's such an overwhelming Pokemon, but at the same time I would like to not sleep on some kind of trickery mode. So how about I tell you about Standard Porygon 2 Balance team. This team not only has a fast mode with Cinderace, Bisharp, and has some semi-trickery components like primarina, rillaboom, and incineroar, but functions perfectly in Trick Room as well, which is kind of the magic of this team. And we're gonna start with the Cinderace, and then I'm gonna go over, for example, item. Well, actually, I can go over it right now because you're gonna see a lot of these Pokemon have items that other Pokemon might appreciate. So let's start with example like Cinderace could have Life Orb, for example. Instead of Primarina, and Primarina could have Assault Vest, and Rillaboom could have Choice Band because of that. This team is very crafty with the items on these three Pokemon, so if you want to throw opponent off guard, don't fear to experiment with these items on these Pokemon. Really, they are really quite customizable. I'll probably, for example, Incineroar could have safety goggles for a better sun matchup, but we're gonna get into that a bit later in matchup section. But let's start with the Cinderace. So, why Cinderace? It's just such a fast Pokemon, and with White Herb, it can actually ignore Intimidate. So, with that being said, you can, for example, one-shot Incineroar without with Life Orb, you one-shot Incineroar anyways with High Jump Kick, but with White Herb, you still achieve the same thing. Plus, you can be more resistant to more speed drops. For example, I can imagine some Porygon Z players being in the Series 5 competition, so you can, for example, reduce the, remove the speed drop from the Cinderace with the White Herb. It's quite good, actually. Now, Parabol, Bounce, Iron Head, and High Jump Kick are, but at least Parabol, Bounce, and High Jump Kick are self-explanatory. High Jump Kick gives you one type of snowball effect on Cinderace. Bounce gives you second type of snowball effect in speed. This gives you +1 attack. Parabol is the almighty attack you can use even without Dynamax. And last move is mostly debated between Sucker Punch and Iron Head. I myself really prefer Iron Head because it gives me more resistances, right? And it throws a lot of other opponents we've got. You do not get the better Indeedee matchup this way, but at the same time, you already got Bisharp on the team to deal with the Indeedee matchup. So, yeah, you got the Dark typing covered by the Bisharp. So Iron Head is the perfect move, raises defense as well, very good. Now, the spread is weird, but you want to have max speed to speed tie with other Cinderaces. There is just no other way. You just need to win the speed ties when you need to. And the 60 special defense and investment allows me to take 2 Porygon Z max strikes Life Orbed if I go for Iron Head or max Steel Spike that turn. So that's pretty cool, and rest of the EVs is put in the attack, so Cinderace is as powerful as it can be. Now, yeah, for example, Cinderace can be G-Max form as well, so do not fear to experiment. I feel G-Max form is great, but I made this seem such a long time ago that it might have had another purpose to not have G-Max form, but for now I actually do not remember. But Bisharp, alright, let's move to Bisharp. Bisharp is the partner grind for the Cinderace. If you remember Blaziken plus Bisharp from the 2018 format, this is very similar to that, in the fact that it has Assurance, Sucker Punch, Iron Head. Yeah, basically the standard Bisharp moveset with Focus Sash, because it has quite a number of weaknesses to common typings. Quadruple fighting weakness as well. It's not very nice to go out with the Bisharp without Focus Sash. It's also very fast mod, and especially defensively it's quite frail, so Focus Sash is perhaps the best item on Bisharp, and allows you, well, it's kind of fun combination with Cinderace, because with the combination of Focus Sash on Bisharp and Dynamax on Cinderace, it's very hard to knock out any of these Pokemon turn 1. So basically, opponent is stuck not KOing something at turn 1 if you lead with Cinderace plus Bisharp, and given that this combination snowballs very easily with max flying and max fighting, this is very dangerous for opponent to deal with. So I highly recommend keeping the focus edge on a bisharp, and I just told you the reason behind it. Of course, I demand Jolly, and everything is pretty much free for all. I like Jolly a bit more because it allows me to, well, it allows me to approach Cinderace plus Bisharp matchups a bit more safely, because Max Airstream now gives Bisharp +1 speed, and with +1 speed from Jolly only, you actually add speed Cinderace and you actually go with, or finish it off with curent. So that's a pretty cool combination this team got going. Of course you add speed more stuff with it as well. I do not think I remember Sonic right now, but definitely you add speed Cinderace at +1, which can be very, very important. Now, Primarina, again, another very customizable Pokemon with Life Orb, Assault Vest. I've seen Sea Incense on it, which is pretty much the Mystic Water effect, but we're gonna keep Life Orb for organization purposes. We already do not have Cinderace with Life Orb, let's just put it on Primarina and make it our premier Trick Room Sweeper. But of course, Primarina is fantastic even without Dynamaxing. It resists hits of something like Urshifu. It has a number of resistances it can use even without Dynamax, and his special bulk gives it enough survivability against many special attacking Pokemon that it can work without Dynamax as well, and it hits like a truck without Dynamax as well, of course. Now, Hydro Cannon is used on Primarina, so it uses as much of a powerful water type move in Dynamax. Yeah, it has 150 base power Dynamax move. Now you can set up Rain, and then get another 1.5 boost from that, and then you just one-shot stuff like Special Offensive Dusclops. It's quite brutal. You can run Hydro Pump, but most of the time Hydro Cannon is just more useful in Dynamax. It's pretty much standardized right now. Wind Blast, if you have Max Starfall, you can use stuff like Dragon Bolt and also the Water Resist. Speaking of Water Resist, you got Energy Bolt to deal with other water type Pokemon, and mainly you deal with Rotomosh a bit better, so... Although Rotomosh is pretty rare and you got Rillaboom for it. But Energy Ball is standardized for, oh yeah, dealing with Gastron. Yes, Gastron is not very popular either right now, because we're in Series 5 and Rillaboom is just drumming its way to victory. But Energy Ball is just very good coverage move. And last move, I picked Ice Beam, which is my personal preference, but it allows Primarina to deal with Venusaur and Amogus a bit better than with Hyper Voice, of course. Your personal preference could be Hyper Voice, which is perfectly fine. Hyper Voice is a great spread move. With Life Orb and Liquid Voice boosted, you actually hit like a truck. It is also much more useful in non-Dynamax situations right now, because your Water Step is just not Hydro Cannon. So yeah, I feel Hyper Voice could be actually better, but for now, we're gonna be running Ice Beam. Now Rillaboom, oh boy, did we miss that thing? Well, I certainly do not. The Assault Vest gives it quite a good special bulk, so it now survives Heat Waves, like actually, if I recall correctly, it survives like 2 Heat Waves from Arcanine right now, oh blimey. This attack in the investment, this EV spread gives it a breakpoint in attacking stat, so you actually get +2 points instead of +1, because we hit a multiple of 10 here. Yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it? We do definitely want to add speed Lapras, max speed Lapras without Rillaboom. Remember, we're in Series 5, so Dragon Bolt Cinderace is very popular, which means Life Orb max speed Lapras is popular as well, because it can counteract them so well, so... and max speed on Lapras is more than 12. It always goes modest, because Timid means it wouldn't get the one-shot on Dragon Bolt, so it always goes modest, and we are outspeeding modest by 1 point. Perfect. Rest of the investment is put into HP and defenses, so pretty much makes sense. The coverage move Grassy Glide is for priority, Wood Hammer is for more powerful attack. Fake Out, what a great move, just fake out another opponent. Allows you to set up Trick Room more safely with more variety, excuse me. And like, Incineroar got Fake Out already, so you have some kind of 50-50 sometimes with leading with Rillaboom or Rillaboom Porygon 2 or Porygon 2 Incineroar, so yeah. And high horsepower is my preference again, because it allows me to deal with Incineroar without superpower drops, so you actually should take at least 1 Flat Blitz from Incineroar, I'm not sure, but it should be. And high horsepower allows you to deal with Magnezone a bit better as well, which could be troublesome for Incineroar to deal with, especially if the Magnezone gets some defense boost. Ooh, that can get nasty, so yeah. Porygon 2, let's start with EV spread. Right, before this video, I asked myself what is the EV spread doing, and I did not No, so I actually changed it to more useful EV spread. This EV spread allows Porygon 2 to take life orb behind jump kick from finding out cinderace 93% of the time, which is pretty important because most of the time cinderace will count on that actual one-shotting Porygon 2. As most Porygon 2 are very special defensive for some reason, but I cannot... I actually do not know what is that investment for. It's actually a... it's actually for the... Actually, I need to pick up the phone. Give me a second. Actually, I'm gonna finish talking about this. So basically, the idea is that you have, like, DV spread with special defense actually is from all the way from 2017. And 2017 is a bit far away from us. It's actually another generation as well, so this is probably the most optimal EV spread. Rest of the bulk is put into special defense investment, so that's the idea. You actually can't hear the phone. That's good, actually. Good. Excellent. Tri Attack and Ice Beam are chosen as the coverage moves. Tri Attack is the stab move, alright? The Thunderbolt in previous format, that being 2017, was literally used for Celesteela, but now that Celesteela is out of the picture, you can actually go for stab attack, and sometimes, just sometimes, you can actually Dynamax Porygon 2 and cause a lot of havoc with stab +1 special attack, Tri Attacks being max strikes right now. Ice Beam is actually important because with Tri Attack you are already not hitting Dragapult, so Ice Beam allows you to hit Dragapult a bit more efficiently and some Venusaur stuff. We're gonna get to Venusaur matchup in the matchup section a bit later, but just say, for now, Dragapult is the main target for Ice Beam, and Recover, Trick Room are pretty much self-explanatory. Trick Room on semi-Trick Room team is perfect. If opponent has hyper-offensive fast team, you can actually deal with it rather easily with a Trick Room mode, that being primarina, rillaboom, incineroar, and maybe even bisharp. And Recover, because Porygon 2 is just so bulky, it can actually stall out some late games on its own with Recover itself, so it's quite important to have Recover on it instead of Protect. And last but not least, Incineroar with Cinderace Berry. Now, again, as I've said before, if you have big trouble dealing with Venusaur on this team, you can sneak in safety goggles on this. And of course, with Cinderace Berry being free, some people tend to have Cinderace Berry on Primarina, which frees up Life Orb, and then you get Life Orb to Cinderace because, yeah, it's much more useful than White Herb overall. But for now, we're going to be running Cinderace Berry on Incineroar again, adding up to the customizability of the items on this Pokemon. Kinda cool. Fake Out was Fake Out again for gaining momentum. Flare Blades for powerful stab attack. You want to deal, like, you already got the Grass Fire Water Core here and you just want to complete it with some fire move, alright? Now, Snarl is important for some matchups. For some side spam matchups, it's actually important to have Snarl. But if you're just like fine with not dealing with Hatterini plus Indeedee, you can run Darkest Lariat and get away with this much more overall useful move on Incineroar. But I highly recommend for matchup section, I'm gonna go over in just a second, for having Snarl still on this moveset. And Parting Shot is again for gaining more momentum. It's just so great to just react to their switches, for example with Parting Shot. It's just so good. DV spread is pretty simple if you do not remember this. This investment allows it to take Life Orb, Modest, Max Quake from Venusaur, guaranteed, and you one-shot yourself back with Flare Blitz, but you also one-shot Max Venusaur this way, so I think it's fairly useful to do that. I want the attack investment again, you see, +2 points, so that means we got multiple of 10 here going. So I think having this investment is pretty good, and rest of the AVs was put into the defense. Now, if you want to add speed to other Incineroars and gain Fake Out momentum advantage, you can actually literally just take away all this and put it at speed, pretty much. I've seen some people doing that, but I like more defensive Incineroars myself, so I think I'm gonna stick with that. And with that done, I explain you the team. There are not too many substitutes to this. This is literally the best form of Porygon 2 balance. Now, I've seen some people experiment with Bisharp slot. I've seen some Urshifus on this team as well, instead of the Bisharp slot, but Bisharp is quite useful Pokemon to focus. Again, Urshifu grants Focus Sash very much, so if you want to experiment with anything, just if you want to remove one thing and throw opponent off guard, remove Bisharp for Urshifu. That's literally my tip. But now, let's get into the Google Search presentation right now, shall we? Alrighty. So, we're gonna, wait a minute. Present. Slides. Oh yeah. Oh well. Give me a second. This was meant to be guinea pig camera for recording. I'm actually recording this offline for those wondering. Because there is no ladder to play on the in-game ladder, and there is also I'm gonna be playing seriously over the weekend. I mean, not weekend, but for Friday, Saturday, Sunday is the online competition I see. This is also one of the reasons I'm making this video, so you are more your mind is refreshed about this topic. But I'm gonna be playing seriously during these days, so I'm just kind of making this offline so I do not get tired before the marathon on weekend. But without further ado, let's get into the standard matchup guide. Now, basic information, Pocket Pass, of course it's gonna be linked right later in the description down below. Now let's get into the P2 balance. So Porygon 2 Primarina, it's quite tough. It's quite tough because Porygon 2 plus Primarina tries to set up Trick Room on your hyper offensive mode, but you got Max Knuckle and Bisharp, so you go for Max Knuckle plus Assurance to KO the Porygon 2, and you efficiently trade Porygon 2 Trick Room mode as a wall for your Cinderace. But due to you having Incineroar in the pack, and for example you switch in Rillaboom right now, you're going to be able to deal with the Primarina rather easily. Now you go for Wood Hammer for example, or 2 Grassy Glides, and even with Intimidate I'm pretty sure you're going to take to your opponent's Primarina. So yeah, read more info on here. For example, I have some protect shenanigans going on here because they most likely will try to KO the Bisharp with the Fake Up plus Max Case here. Basically the idea is trade Porygon 2 for Cinderace, then bring in Rillaboom and try to KO their Primarina. And after that happens, they'll have to switch into their own Rillaboom or Incineroar as the last Pokemon, and now you're gonna have superiority over this combination with your own Intimidate Incineroar, and you should be easily able to win. Your Rillaboom also has high horsepower, which should give it some kind of superiority over the Incineroar as well. Now usage this versus Cinderace plus Bisharp. Mamma mia, this is a mirror, and you luckily got the Jolly plus Jolly Nature, so if you win the speed tie against their Cinderace, you're gonna literally outspeed them and one-shot them with Max Harrison plus Assurance before Cinderace can even attack, which means it's quite an easy victory for you. You also should be winning the speed tie against opponent's Bisharp, so if they try to double up your Bisharp, for example with Max Knuckle or Powerball, I don't know, you should be able to win the speed tie against their Bisharp because you're Jolly, which is kind of unnecessary but quite necessary in this matchup because you are able to scale Cinderace with Max Airstream plus a Assurance and outspeed it as well. Now Porygon's are good stuff. This is an awful matchup for the opponent. Because you got White Herb on the Cinderace, you're not gonna get your speed dropped after turn 1 Max Strike, which means you're gonna KO their Clefairy turn 1 with the Max. Sorry about that. Max Steel Spike plus Iron Head. You do not get slower, and now you are able to go for like Sucker Punch plus Max Knuckle to just simply one-shot them. So yeah, this matchup is awful for them. Against Talonflame plus Porygon Z, I would again go like you should. Yeah, the EV spread allows you to survive 1 Max Strike. And you go for Max Airstream plus Assurance to KO Porygon Z, and then you go for more Max Airstreams to try to finish off Talonflame. Yeah, it's kind of tough actually to deal with this, but because they got Rillaboom plus Urshifu and you got your own Rillaboom plus Incineroar in the back, you should be able to close this matchup down a bit more easily than the opponent. Of course, you for example KO Talonflame with 2 Sucker Punches, take advantage of that. So that's my tip for this matchup. Now, Slope Side Spam. This is why we have Snarl, but Porygon 2 plus Incineroar has infamously quite a good matchup against the Venusaur plus Torkoal. You Dynamax Porygon 2, and then you double up for Venusaur. They cannot do anything to your Porygon 2. They most likely will try to Dynamax the Venusaur because they're fearing Fake Out. So you literally tank these hits so easily. You get a special attack boost because Venusaur got lower defense, but Torkoal got such a lower special defense that you guarantee get a special attack boost here. And you definitely do it KO their Venusaur, even with pretty much with double up plus Max Hailstorm plus Flare Blitz. You remove the Sun, and after that the game plan just crumbles apart. Against Hatterene in Diddy, you're pretty much good to go as well because you try attack Snarl and then you just Snarl while disrupting their own Trick Room with your own Trick Room on Porygon 2. It's very annoying for them to win. You just spam these moves until they just give up basically. Like, for example, if I would be against such a strategy in-game, on in-game ladder, after turn 3 I would probably just forfeit, because it's just so annoying to deal with, and I know. I in fact know I'm not going to win this, because it's just so annoying. Yeah, it's quite irritating with the Snarl here. They really are in a horrible matchup. Now, fast side spam fighting. This is a bit different match, but Terracotta just feigns to instead of going for Fake Out plus Max Airstream at the Whimsicott. Then you go for Max Steel Spike to just do a lot of damage to Terrakion. Yeah, I don't think their matchup was very good. Also, you intimidate their Terrakion and get a +1 defense for Max Steel Spike as well, so they're very, very screwed. After Indeedee comes in, switch to Rillaboom to counteract it. Pretty much basic stuff. Now, against Alakazam Indeedee, I myself could not believe, but Cinderace actually takes Life Orb, Max Mindstorm from Alakazam in Psychic terrain fairly well as well, believe it or not. So you go for Max Racing plus Assurance to KO Indeedee, then you just do the same thing to the Alakazam, and you got Rillaboom and Bisharp in the back. Actually, you lead Incineroar. Oopsie doopsie. Forget whatever I said. Go for Max Racing plus a Snarl turn 1 into their Pokemon, and you should technically be able to survive this round with Cinderace. If you're not, Rillaboom should easily just clean up the opponent's opposition. Like, they got Bisharp, like, they got most likely, what, Dracovish and Terrakion in the back, and these Pokemon are just awful against Rillaboom, so as long as you KO Indeedee turn 1, you eliminate their whole possibility of going for more Psychic terrain. And he snarled the Alakazam as well. It's gonna be very annoying for it to deal with Incineroar with a Max Knuckles? Nah, that's not gonna work. And Assault by Rillaboom? Nah, that's not gonna work either. So yeah, that's basically the idea. You really annoy them with the Rillaboom so much. Now, Standard Sand, a very scary archetype, but hopefully we're gonna win this pretty easily. So, Primarina plus Incineroar has a quite a good matchup against Amogus plus Dragapult. You should be able to just simply, yeah, you want to go for Max Starfall into Amogus and switch to the Bisharp immediately. Now, this is a bait. They literally want to tweet KO your Primarina instantly, but they will tweet KO your Primarina, but at what cost? They're gonna give Bisharp switch in +4 attack, which will just be able to finish off Amogus very easily. And now, Sucker Punch now one-shots Dragapult, and they got more priority with Rillaboom, and your Tornador just finds the Wood Hammer or Grassy Glide. That's not gonna work out that well for them. You can imagine that though. Also, you can focus session on Bisharp, so Harris Power Excadrill not gonna work out. Again, 2 KO'd by Grassy Glide, Sucker Punch finishes off Dragapult. Quite a good bait. I think I'm pretty proud of thinking of this strategy, so that's basically the idea. Tornador Amogus, you just want to go for Max Hailstorm, KO the Amogus turn 1. That's basically the idea. Then go for Max Case here to try to set up Rain instead of the Sand for Tyranitar. And try to KO the Pokemon next to the Tyranitar. They are very, like, look at this kind of composition opponent got. Dragapult, Togekiss, Incineroar, Excadrill. None of them actually really appreciate Max Case here. And with Max Case on the field, you should be next turn, the turn 3, able to one-shot Tyranitar very easily, and you should be able to clean up as well. Now, against Excadrill Togekiss, my experience is they really like to set up Sword Stance, so you want to fake out the Excadrill turn 1, go for Max Case here to put Togekiss and Flare Blitz KO range, even with Rain, because just Life Orb is just so powerful in Primarina. Double KO next turn, win the game. Pretty much simple as that. If they Dynamax Excadrill though, they did not get his Sword Stance up, they are -1, so just switch to Rillaboom and you're fine. And you definitely do it, go Togekiss, then your Excadrill is in bad position as well. If they switch to Tyranitar again, drum your way to victory with Rillaboom, and you should be pretty much fine. So yeah, that's my advice for this matchup. Now, Standard Sun, and we're going to Incineroar again, pretty much self-explanatory combination. I said about this earlier on, but again, just double up the opponent's finish from Max Hailstorm plus Flare Blitz, get a TKO that slot. Whatever slot they switch to Torkoal, they're not going to get the Sun up because you go for Max Hailstorm to just simply remove it. So yeah, that's basically the idea for the. So you remove the Sun, then opponent is just very weak, very weak, and then you just bring in your Primarina Rillaboom to clean up this mess. Against Dusclops Togekiss, just parting shot. Oh, you want a parting shot into the primarina in the back. I was just a bit confused reading through this, but you want to literally parting shot into their follow me plus ice beam to weaken the Togekiss. Now you opponent set up Trick Room, reverse it with your own Trick Room, go for max Gazier, and start being annoying again. Annoy the opponent. Opponent cannot set up Trick Room and Bulldoze at the same time, which is very important, which is gonna just so much annoy opponent to the point they should not be able to win this match very, very easily. Just annoy them. Higher spell plus snarl plus intimidate is going to be very annoying for Torkoal plus a Tyranitar to clean up as well, especially without Bulldoze support from a Dusclops. Just annoy them to no end and you should be able to easily win this matchup. Also, one last note, Life Orb Max Gator from Primarina actually simply one-shots Torkoal, so yeah, it's just pretty easy one-shot on that. It's pretty funny. Hyper Offense Lapras. Yeah, so basically, the idea is that they're most likely will lead with Imprisoner. Most of the time, these teams have pretty bad matchups against the Trick Room, and they mostly try to punch through it or lead with Imprisoner. So they'll most likely lead with Imprisoner instead of the Dalmet Talonflame, which makes your Rillaboom actually outspeed Lapras and one-shotted with G-Max Ram Solo, or actually G-Max Max Overgrowth as well, because it's just such a powerful attack. Lapras doesn't have any bulk, and really it's just so powerful. And after that, after Lapras faints, you should be able to win fairly easily. So it's kind of like, yeah, you're gonna confuse them a bit. Of course, if they lead fake Talonflame plus a Lapras, you can actually, I'm pretty sure you can actually literally go for Fake Out plus Trick Room and get away with it. So yeah, their matchup is gonna be a bit painful after that as well. They will most likely get a Rillaboom, but Primarina in the back is going to be so powerful, and you can recover stall with the Porygon 2, and of course you got Starlo and Incineroar, so you can weaken the Lapras as well this way. Yeah, so that's basically the idea against this. Hyper Offense Cinderace. Now, again, you can go with the Trick Room mode again, but most likely I predict them to go with Imprisoner lead, like Chandela, or indeed Mail. So they got Imprison plus Trick Room to try to... Imprison means you cannot use their Trick Room. You cannot use moves of your opponent, so they will prevent you from using Trick Room. That's basically the idea behind Imprison. But now that you leave it, for example, Cinderace with bisharp, you're going to be able to confuse the opponent into... Like, opponent will expect you to go with the Trick Room mode, but you do not, and now you're going to completely throw them off guard. You're going to get max airstreams off. They do not have even a Whimsicott with them most of the time, because they really do it in Prisoner lead. And it should be fairly easy to overwhelm them. So basically that's the idea. Again, if you like the risks, you can for example go with the Porygon 2 plus a Fake Out lead, and for example Dynamax Porygon 2, but that's horrible. Dynamax Porygon 2 is not going to do anything against Chandela, so watch out for that. And last matchup is Center Drain. Primarina, that's always pain for them to deal with. Unfortunately, sometimes they do have Rillaboom, so you have to be a bit more careful about that. You should be able to launch Rillaboom with Max Hailstorm though, if I recall correctly. And not too many Rillabooms should expect that either, so... But if they lead Scattered Kingdra plus Togekiss, you should be able to overwhelm them really easily. If they have Ferrothorn or Rillaboom, again, wait with Incineroar in the back and bring it out when you need to save Primarina from Woodhammer or Grassy Glide, or save a team from being swept by Port Press, Iron Defense Ferrothorn. You still are such a powerful attacker with Primarina to the point you should be able to one-shot everything with Max Gazer on the rain with Life Orb boost. So basically that's the idea. Now, to the counteraction section. Now, Moxie Gyarados is most likely the best counteraction that is ever made. Basically, the idea is Porygon 2 almost never runs Thunderbolt now because Celesteela is out of the picture, and the Gyarados really, like, it doesn't roll out Cinderace, but it does really well against it. Again, if you want Intimidate, you can run Intimidate, but it's going to make bisharp a bit more aggressive. But if you weaken Cinderace or Porygon 2 on the lead and prevent Trick Room, Gyarados should pick both of these Pokemon off and get a Moxie boost, get +1 speed off, and should easily sweep the team. Primarina stands no chance against Max Overgrowth Power Whip. Rillaboom stands no chance against Max Airstream. Incineroar stands no chance against Max Gazier. So really, they're really at the end of their hope if you get the boost on the Gyarados. So yeah, look at here. I say you're actually able to one-shot Rillaboom with Intimidate drop as well. So it's kind of brutal. Like, I'm gonna I actually wanted to list some kind of matchups here, like for Hyper Offense, for weather teams. This is basically the guide for all these kind of teams. Now, just got wrecked because this team is just so versatile. It's a bit annoying to deal with all of these Pokemon at once for the Hyper Offense mode and the Trick Room mode. Excuse me, the phone is ringing for like third time in 30 minutes, but I really want to finish this video off right now. At the end, come on, man. Anyways, let's go and be professional for a few more minutes, shall we? Okay, Scarf Dracovish is actually able to easily, not easily, but it's going to weaken a Porygon 2 enough. And you're actually outspeeding and one-shotting Cinderace as well, which pretty much invalidates that mode altogether. So basically, if opponent sees Dracovish, they're most likely not going with Cinderace mode. Use that to your advantage. So yeah, bring your Fake Out with you so you can prevent the Trick Room, because most of the time, if they go with Porygon 2 mode, they're also going to lead with some kind of Fake Out user, that being Rillaboom or Incineroar. So yeah, basically if you lead your own Fake Out, you're going to be able to Fake Out them, and then you go for Dynamax with your Fake Out, or that being Rillaboom. Highly recommend Rillaboom, because it deals with Primarina as well, which is otherwise painful for the Dracovish. But then you Dynamax, go for Max Overgrowth, KO the Porygon 2, and pull up the sweep. You also got like 2 powerful Pokemon in the back as well, so what do you have in the back? I don't know. Urshifu, Cinderace your own. Like Cinderace without Dynamax is powerful as well, so yeah. Now, I briefly talked about Venusaur plus Torkoal being counteracted, but you need to be a bit more smart with this, because they almost always are going to leave with Porygon 2 plus Incineroar. Use the knowledge I just told you about the counteraction to your advantage, so I'm going to give you an example here. So you want to actually switch out Venusaur turn 1, because it's most likely the danger that's going to be targeted down. Then you body press their Porygon 2 or Incineroar based on what you want to KO next turn, and switch to your actual Dynamax on the team. Now watch out, it can be actually KO'd rather easily, but if you manage to just get a Dynamax up fairly healthy into the slot, or you just have a dead fodder that's just going to faint on the switching, and then you switch into your actual Dynamax like Cinderace, there is a chance they won't be able to deal with Cinderace, for example, at that moment, because Porygon 2 is weakened. Now Max Knuckle actually KOs it, and he actually stumbles out of control rather easily. So for example, I would recommend trying this strategy. Switch out of Venusaur turn 1 into your Pokemon you want to faint, then you switch into your actual Dynamax and pull up the sweep after that. This just throws away the opponent, throws the opponent off guard, and it's just the best way to deal with this if you have Venusaur plus Torkoal. Again, Venusaur is also pretty useful against this, because it almost one-shots a Incineroar, but again, doesn't one-shot Incineroar completely, so yeah. I also talk about, for example, Max Guard turn 1 here from Venusaur, and then you just do it KO Incineroar with body presses. If they set up Trick Room, you do it KO them with body presses. If they do not set up Trick Room, you just finish it off Max Quake, and you just get Special Defense up, so you do not do, so the Porygon 2 doesn't do all that much damage, so just do not go for Beehoo, Sleeper, Max Quake turn 1, and you should have somewhat a resemblance of an advantage. Use the knowledge I told you to your advantage. And now the last counteraction, Session Mingus plus counteraction to Cinderace plus Bisharp. Now, your own Cinderace can be actually a good counteraction to this, because you got Redirection, which means you're going to be able to 2-hit KO their Cinderace before they can 2-hit KO your Cinderace. Now, Mingus is also very good against the Trick Room mode. That being, like, you have Session Mingus as well, so you actually take Max Airstream as well, and you can put the Cinderace to sleep this way as well. It's quite annoying, actually. Also, Max Speed Session Mingus actually outspeeds and puts to sleep Porygon 2, Incineroar, and Primarina, unless there's smart Primarinas, but these are fairly rare, even in this case, that being 91 speed Primarinas, if you know what I'm talking about. Because max speed of a Mingus is 90, so yeah. But yeah, really, the rest of the team does horribly against max speed Session Mingus. Of course, they can Fake Out plus Trick Room, which can be a bit annoying to deal with after that. But if you got Redirection and you got some kind of like, oh yeah, for example, lead with Cinderace, switch to Rillaboom turn 1, Max Knuckle. You're going to be dealing with the Trick Room mode fairly easily now. Yeah. So basically, that's the idea. Just throw them off guard. Session Mingus also just outspeeds the Trick Room mode without Trick Room. And you are going to be able to protect your own Cinderace or some other sweeper. Like, I think it stacks up well with something like Dracovish I said before. Yeah, Togeki's plus Urshifu is basically and probably most specific counteraction to this. So I actually probably read over this already, but I'm gonna try to explain. Basically, Cinderace Bisharp While max guard your Togekiss stun one and go for example, Surging Strikes and Incineroar. Now they're completely screwed because, yeah, you can actually KO the bisharp, you can actually KO their Incineroar now. And you just go for, you can go for max guard in the finish of Incineroar as well, and should be easy cleanup after that. Now, if opponent goes with Incineroar plus Porygon 2 combination, you can actually go for Dynamax plus Urshifu and protect Urshifu at all costs. You're going to be able to hit KO their Sunrise or Porygon 2 again. After they're going to switch into Porygon 2, I mean Primarina, I meant to say Primarina. You should be able to follow me by the attacks again, and even if they manage to get Primarina in, if you have Thunder Punch, you're going to be able to easily hit KO it. And if you have Rillaboom in the back, you're going to finish it off as well. So basically, Togekiss, Urshifu, Rillaboom, one of the most specific counteractions to this, but works out pretty well as well. And with that, I end up Metagame Monday today. Hopefully you enjoyed today's episode, and I'll catch you next Metagame Monday for a little bit in another Series 5 team. So have a nice day, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.